For his 10th birthday, Rudy's career had received a powerful staff from Ares, called Aqua Hartia. Shortly before the mana disaster, which teleported Rudy and Ares to the demon continent, caused immense damage and drew the attention of both Fitogame and Orsted respectively to Rudy and Silent 7 Star, you could see how easily Rudius could summon an entire thunderstorm with it, even though the additional effects went beyond what a simple Sane class spell should produce, which of course was due to the mana disaster. However, one thing was completely overlooked during all of this. What exactly does this staff do, and what bonuses or drawbacks does it give to Rudius? Well, as the name suggests, Aqua Hartia is a staff that enhances the power of water magic. Its effectiveness is dramatically increased because the staff reduces the mana requirement for water magic by a factor of 5. For extremely complex spells, this is highly significant, even for someone like Rudius. But that's not all. Although the staff primarily resonates with the water element, making it especially compatible with it, it also makes wind and earth magic much easier to cast. And both of these elements received a threefold multiplier to Aqua Hartia in terms of mana efficiency. And even the fire element, which is normally opposed to water, still received a twofold boost in mana effectiveness. In other words, Rudius' staff massively improves upon his already impressive mana capacity. However, Rudy already has such an enormous mana pool and can cast so effectively and effortlessly on his own that he almost never actually needed the staff for anything serious. With that said, there are two notable exceptions. The first one was Rudius' fight against Orsted in Season 1. Already heavily injured and panicked, Rudius cast elf magic without his staff and already heavily wounded, and unleashed a stone projectile that resembled compressed metal more than any normal rock, firing at an incredible speed towards Orsted, and again while Orsted was able to block it with just one hand, even he didn't come out completely unharmed, despite his Dragon Saint battle aura. And this was done with very little casting time, and again while Rudius was very badly wounded already. Now imagine this with Aqua Hartia, with a threefold multiplier. Rudy would have been able to deal significant damage even to Orsted. And the same applies to his final desperate attempt to roast Orsted, with what we can call a fireball. With the staff, he could have poured twice as much mana into the spell, bringing it closer to something like Megumin's explosion magic, rather than that of a standard fireball that Ares casted in a last desperate attempt against Orsted. Even so, Orsted's Wormgate was damaged simply because of the sheer amount of mana that Rudy was already able to pour into the spell without Aqua Hartia. I think this Family Guy meme should be appropriate for the context. And the second time Rudius used Aqua Hartia in any serious way, after casting the Thunderstorm, and almost casting the Thunderstorm on the Demon Continent, before Rujet intervened, was when he faced the Demon King Bardigadi. And Bardigadi's battle aura was so overwhelming that even Nina Farion, a Sword Saint and the daughter of Galfarion, struggled to break through it. Even using the strongest offensive sword technique in the world, the Longsword of Light. But with enough preparation time and Aqua Hartia, Rudius was able to pour enough mana into what I call this railgun of a spell to obliterate Bardigadi's upper body. It was just blown into thousands of pieces, and only his immortality saved him. Of course, this raised the question, what did all of this cost? And the answer is a lot. The staff cost around 100 gold coins, and for comparison, Rudius' tuition fee were only 3 Asuran gold coins. In other words, to pay for the tuition for himself and Sylphie, Rudy had to work for 5 years as a tutor for the wealthy Boreas branch of his family. This means the staff was an extraordinarily valuable gift, one that only makes sense when you consider how incredibly difficult Ares was to teach, and that Rudius not only educated her academically, but also taught her proper behavior and even dancing, while also getting along very well with the rest of the Boreas family. In short, this thing is immensely valuable, even though Rudy can manage perfectly fine without it. And with that said, now it's your turn. What do you think about Aqua Hartia and the power of the staff? Did you know how strong it really is, and what it can actually do? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.